Well, hey guys, it is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. It is great to be with you on Inspirations for Your Life. Always wonderful to be with you guys here and sharing some amazing information and great insights, as you know, I always do with all of you guys. So, really grateful to have you guys here with me and watching this amazing program that we have here on Inspirations for Your Life. Today is May 10th, guys, May 10th. And yeah, it's really an amazing day, and I'll tell you why in just a little bit. There was a lot that went on actually today, so definitely going to get into that in just a moment. But you know what today is? Today is actually day one. It is a brand new master topic here on Inspirations for Your Life. So welcome everyone to the show. First of all, a big welcome to you. Our master topic for the entire week is understanding personal evolution. We're on series 4, by the way, in show 20. The granular for tonight is a really good topic. And when we think about, understanding our personal evolution, um, we're talking about basically how we evolve, how we fit in with the world. So maybe take this moment to go grab something delicious, hot or cold, or yummy, or maybe something sweet or something tart, all from your kitchen. So you can feel free to definitely do that. And I think that would be amazing. Hurry on back to the show. Do check out, by the way, believemeachieve.com, of course, for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. So definitely check that right now, and hurry on back because we definitely want to kick the show off. By the way, I do encourage you to drop by believemeachieve.com for, of course, more of my amazing, inspiring creations. But I have a lot to share with you guys this evening, so definitely stay tuned. All right. So, a big warm welcome to everyone here on the Inspirations for Your Life channel. Welcome to another transformative episode for your life and giving you the nuggets that you need to become a little bit better. I'm your host, John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. I'm not only a podcast host, but I'm also a podcast coach. And it is my privilege, pleasure, and honor to be with you here, also a serial entrepreneur, on Inspirations for Your Life. So tonight's episode explores the essence of inclusion, not just as a concept, but as a daily discipline. In our rapidly evolving world, inclusion isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. It's what powers better ideas, deeper relationships, stronger communities, and smarter leadership, believe it or not. And so, whether you're leading, ladies and gentlemen, whether you're leading a team, um, raising a family, or perhaps mentoring others, I think it's amazing to be able to master these skills. All right, you can just simply try to be a better human. Maybe want to go down that path. The way we engage with others is so very, very critical, ladies and gentlemen. So very, very critical that we need to be aware of that. So, inclusion is not just about diverse demographics, right? Inclusion is about lots of different things, and I think that's an important piece for a lot of people, to definitely understand is that inclusion comes to the fact that it means so much, okay? It's about welcoming diverse thought, experiences, and identity, and honoring that diversity through tangible actions. In this episode, going to unpack the values and also dive into practical, real world ways you can live them. That's no discrimination for race, religion, any type of orientation, color, creed, etc. Very, very important there. And so let's get into this. So there are 10 principles we're going to talk about this evening, and they will reshape how you show up in the world. You listen, you collaborate, and you lead. So everybody ready? So let's get started, all right? Kicking off with number 1, and then at the end, I have a special surprise for you, something really unique and cool that I want to share with you. So, number one is respect differences without hesitation. Respecting differences is more than tolerating another person's identity, it's embracing basically it with openness and authenticity without delay or resistance. Too often we pause or hesitate when encountering people who speak, dress, pray, love, or lead differently um, than they originally are intending. But that pause sends a message. You must prove your worth before you're welcome, right? Inclusive leaders eliminate that hesitation. And so they eliminate the hesitation and they extend an instant respect that's rooted in curiosity and compassion. Whether it's race, gender identity, neurodiversity, physical ability, or cultural tradition, every difference enriches the collective. By normalizing respect as our first instinct, we create environments where authenticity thrives and fear just sort of magically dissolves. Now, number two, ladies and gentlemen, is important. Make space for every voice. Inclusion dies in silence. Too often, meetings, teams, and social circles are dominated by the most confident senior or majority set of voices, and there's a lot of drama. Making space for every voice means ensuring that everyone, not just the usual contributors, feels empowered to speak up. It means noticing who hasn't spoken, pausing to invite their thoughts, and making sure they're not interrupted or dismissed. It means restructuring how we lead discussions, asking open ended questions, and validating input, even if it's unconventional. A voice that goes unheard can be a solution lost. Inclusion isn't just about who's in the room, it's about who's heard in the room. That's important. So let me say that again. Inclusion isn't just about who's in the room, it's about who's heard in the room. Number three, guys. Welcome what's unfamiliar. I always said you have to practice getting comfortable being uncomfortable, and this is no different. Human instinct pulls us toward the familiar, right? But growth lives in the unknown, the uncomfortable. Welcoming what's unfamiliar and a little bit uncomfortable means leaning into difference with excitement rather than an avoidance. Whether it's working with someone from a different background, learning a tradition outside your norm, or trying an approach that challenges your thinking, unfamiliarity is an invitation, not a threat. This mindset unlocks empathy, fuels cultural intelligence, and nurtures creativity. True inclusion requires us to stay open, curious, and humble in the face of discomfort. The more we expose ourselves to unfamiliar perspectives, the more compassionate and innovative we become. But I want to tell you that this is not something that you're just going to have happen like overnight. It's something that is going to take some time for you. So I think that's a very important thing for everyone to embrace. Um, And so when we think about this, I want to talk about another point that I think is really important, and I hope will drive some things home to you. Um, you know, just knowing is a big part of what we do, right? Um, Number four, challenge exclusive thinking. Exclusive thinking doesn't always show up in bold or hateful ways. It often sneaks in through a back door, unconscious bias, traditions that center on one group, or assumptions we don't question. Challenging this thinking requires both courage and accountability. It means interrogating long held beliefs, even ones passed down through respected systems. It means asking who benefits from this and who's left out. It means holding yourself and others accountable when jokes, rules, or norms reinforce inequality. By disrupting exclusive thinking, we open doors to justice, opportunity, and a deeper shared set of humanity. The change starts with you and it ripples outward. Number five, guys, listen to understand, not to judge. And I think that's one that a lot of people get stuck on because they think that they should be listening to make a comment, but in actuality, they shouldn't. They should be listening to understand, right? So, listening is more than just hearing words or sounds. It's the act of entering someone else's reality without an agenda. Too often we listen to respond, to correct, or to compare. But inclusive listening is different. It means quieting the voice in your own head long enough to truly hear someone else's. It means being present with their emotion, their story, and their struggle without trying to fix it or filter it through your experience. When you listen to understand, you validate that person's experience, and that's powerful. It builds trust, strengthens relationships, and bridges gaps that data and logic never could. So I think that's an important thing, and that's hard for some people to realize that sometimes we don't have logic to why people are acting a certain way. And I know that can be like really daunting and it can be very scary for some people, but embrace it. All right, embrace it. That is the most important thing that I want to share with you. Definitely, embrace it. Number six, invite different types of perspectives, not just people. Okay, it's easy to invite people to the table. It's hard to invite their perspectives into your process. Inclusive action goes beyond numbers or appearances. It dives deep into how those people are empowered to participate, influence, and challenge if people are in the room, but feel unsafe or possibly undervalued, sharing basically their truth. That's tokenism, pretty much. And so understanding this and understanding, the not inclusion is a problem. Instead, ask better questions. All right. Open space for dialogue, reward the brave, and encourage, ladies and gentlemen, feedback that stretches your assumptions. Remember, a room filled with diverse people means nothing if they are expected to conform to a single way of thinking. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize from the get go. Number seven, diversity fuels better ideas. You might have heard this before, but what you might not know is that it's actually a lot easier to understand if you start to embrace it, if you start to believe in it. All right. So, number seven is diversity fuels better ideas. Diversity isn't just a moral imperative, it's a business and creative advantage. Research repeatedly shows that diverse teams outperform uh, homogeneous ones in innovation, decision making, and problem solving. Why? Simply because people with different lived experiences offer different solutions. Challenges result when we have the status quo and help teams avoid groupthink. A room full of similar thinkers might feel efficient, but it rarely produces excellence. Inclusion ensures that diversity isn't just present, but it's empowered. When you create a culture that thrives on respect rather than disagreement and encourages divergent thinking, you unlock the kind of innovation that transforms industries and lives and can make really earth-shattering discoveries. Number eight, guys, and number eight is definitely one of my favorite. Well, they're all my favorite, but this is really, I think, a very important one. It's inclusion is action, not intention. Saying you value inclusion is not enough. Good intentions are a start, but real inclusions um, are ones that live in the systems you build, the language you use, and the people you champion. It means examining your hiring practices, your leadership pipelines, your pay structures, and even your mentorship access. It means standing up for someone in the moment, even if it's uncomfortable. It means auditing your behavior and asking others for feedback. Inclusion is work and it's ongoing, but every time you choose to act rather than opt for silence or symbolism, you move the world one step closer to uh, equity. And I think that's an important thing for a lot of people. They may not necessarily understand that, but I think that's an important point to understand. Number nine, guys, is break echo chambers. Break echo chambers. And I think this is one that sometimes gives some people a little bit of confusion. In a world of algorithms and curated content, we are surrounded by ideas that reflect what we already believe. Echo chambers can feel comfortable, but they limit our understanding, our empathy, and our growth. Breaking them requires intentional exposure to voices that challenge us, provoke us, and expand our horizons. Seeking out media, people, and communities that stretch your worldview is important. Listen to stories that discomfort you, that will put you into a different frame of mind, not because they're wrong, but because they're different. Inclusion cannot, let me say this again, inclusion, ladies and gentlemen, cannot, and I really mean this, inclusion cannot thrive in a closed loop. It demands open minds, open thinking, brave questions, break the chamber, and grow your humanity. Number 10, guys, value people, not categories or titles. We live in a world eager to categorize labels being applied, while sometimes helpful, and can reduce a person's complex humanity to a checkbox. But the true inclusion sees beyond identity, markers, and the place we are in our heart of the individual. It recognizes that no one fits nearly in one square box, and that experiences we live each day matter more than the assumptions we make. To value people, not categories, is to engage each person with true dignity, curiosity, and openness. It's really to say, hey, I see you, not just your role or your title or your demographic. I see your story. And that is the foundation of respect, unity, and complete transformation. Now, inclusion doesn't happen by chance, ladies and gentlemen. It happens by choice, reinforced daily through action. If we each commit to even a few of these principles, we'll start to shape a world that is more equitable, compassionate, and connected. So let's not just admire diversity, let's practice it every single day. We need to live it. And I know you might be saying, hey, John, I've tried this, but you don't understand my work. You don't understand how things go. No, I understand everything. It's just that you're choosing to not follow this. And I can't make you follow it. I can only explain to you why it's important, right? But I'm not here to make you drink, right? I'm here to lead you to the water, and hopefully you'll decide to have a sip of water, but I can't make you drink. I think that's a very, very important thing to understand. So I want to leave some time here at the end of the program. I want to share something very important. So today was a very historic day. First of all, members of various town agencies and the press, and that's what I'm actually part of. I'm part of the United States Press Organization with my press badge. And so several years ago, they had made a decision that they were going to demolish this building. The building was called the Sheridan Mawa Towers. And so the Sheridan Mawa Towers was built basically, it was built a while ago. And the thing about it is this hotel was built in 1986 on about 142 acres. The hotel unfortunately closed in 2023 and was the largest structure in Mawa until its recent implosion. Crossroads Developers Associates owns the property located at 1 International Boulevard. And so the question you might be asking is, so why did the Sheridan Mawa fail? So that's not an easy question. All right. I'll see if I can try to answer it in a short way. I think the best way to explain this is that the Sheridan Mawa was really very iconic, and a very high-end luxury building. But everyone asks, so what happened to the Sheridan? Why did it close? So again, there was lots of issues. They were stating a while back that you know the reason that they had problems is that they had many mini earthquakes, very small, and they started to cause damage to the structure of the building. And then in 2008, they tried to fix the structure, but were unsuccessful. They also had offices in the building to try to help with the cost. But then after COVID, they unfortunately couldn't pay their rents, and now the building was not only having some financial challenges, it was totally underwater with a debt. So they had made a decision a long time ago that they were going to basically demolish this building. The plan was to implode the building, which would be a lot more efficient and not only efficient, but also better for the environment, lots of different things. So there were lots of reasons why they did imploding. It was not as noisy, and it was very strategic. So imploding means that the building actually falls and comes in. Exploding, like you just got to blow it up. So the difference is imploding uses less, I should say, more charges, but less amounts. Okay. So this building had 1,700 holes drilled and about a pound and a half of dynamite in each one of those holes. And so when I got there, actually this morning, I was up at 3 a.m. I got to the site well before the time, which was around 4:30, even though they said to get there at 6. I was the first media person on site. And when I got there within a few minutes, the production team was already getting there. And so when I checked in, they said, "Gee, are you with media or production?" I'm like, "Well, I am with production." But to them, production didn't mean like media production. It meant like the people that were doing the destruction. So getting there when it was very dark and just kind of looking at the building was very eerie. And then seeing like the red light at the top that went on. And that red light actually, till the building was imploded, was actually a beacon for the airplanes for Newark Liberty Airport. And so, yes, this was the direct pathway helping people guide into Newark. Now they have to find another building. So the building was approximately 250 feet high, about 22 floors. And so when I got there, my first, diligence was to get set up, make sure I was ready. And my first plan was to start creating a story. I already had started planning for this event quite a while before. Just a few days before the event, I had gotten my press pass. It was a private event for press only. And so I knew I wanted to do something iconic like, the building. So like when the sun was going to rise, I said, this is the last time that the sun is going to rise on this building forever. And so I took a video of that. I also took some video of the cop cars and whatnot and the whole scene. And then I started talking to some of the production crew and one of the head foremen that was running it, and even the people from the Department of Labor from the state. And it was very interesting to understand the whole process and how it worked. So they actually used something called a hard line. It was wired from the building right out to the hard line. And then when they went and pushed the button on that, they used a 9-volt basically battery. That's all they used. And they used debt wire that was connecting everything. So when I saw people walking around inside the building, they weren't connecting anything. They were just checking to make sure nobody had cut anything. Everything was all pretty much intact. And the day before is when they actually went through and basically connected all the fuses to make sure everything was all connected the day or two before. But this morning, they were all supposed to be out of the building by 7. They were out of the building by like 6 a.m., 6:15 a.m., okay? And they were walking up and down all these floors. Remember, there was no elevators. There was no power in the building. There was no water. There was no nothing. No gas. They had turned all this off several weeks ago. And so it was very eerie watching this. And then the sun kind of rose, and they were explaining to us how it was going to work. That first thing that's going to happen, because they gave us masks to wear, but It wasn't that bad with dust. It was really nothing. And then the next thing, they also gave us ear plugs, but I really didn't need them. I asked. So, like a typical explosion, it would make a lot of noise. This was more like firecrackers, but really not very loud firecrackers. And so, first thing I heard, as they had told me, I was going to hear maybe several dozen charges go off. So when they press the button, those first set of charges go off. There's like a delay, nothing happens. Like, what happened? And then another set of charges go off. As soon as the next set of charges go off, the side of the building starts coming down, and then the center starts coming down. Now, so the way this works is they do press one button, but everything is timed through fuses. So everything all goes all at the same time, but they're all set. So even though they're all lit at the same time, they're all with a fuse so that they go to the right spot. I thought that was really, really, really cool how that works. And so when they were going to start the implosion, they had to close all the traffic down, obviously, on 287 and Route 17 to make sure it was safe, because they didn't want people getting into an accident saying, oh my gosh, this building went down. And last thing they needed was to come after the town because they didn't take the precautions. And so they shut the roads down. They thought we were going to start early, but we didn't. It's supposed to be 7:30. We didn't start to like around 7:40, something like that, 7:30, 7:40. And there were some sequences of sirens that went off. And then somebody yelled out 1 minute. I said, I better start my camera. And within maybe 5 to 10 seconds of me starting the camera, the first set of charges went off. And it was so surreal watching that. What I want to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, is that video that I created and put on TikTok currently, well, depending on when you guys watch this, right? But today, as of like 10:48 p.m., it already has over 233,000, I should say, basically watches, views. And out of those views, there have been basically 560 people that bookmarked it, 364 people that commented, and 9,248 people that liked the video. I also chose something pretty cool. I chose the final countdown to go with it, and I strategically used the right hashtags. And it was an amazing, amazing experience. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can check out more of that at believemeachieve.com. Check on TikTok, and you'll definitely see the video. Do go to believemeachieve.com. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, your personal evolution is the key to success. We'll continue more of this later on in the week. Have a great one, everyone.